somebody wants to create a digital twin, 80% of their estate is probably in 2D CAD drawings at the moment. This is the first step on that journey, is it, to move that from 2D to 3D?
If you get any kind of information in a table form printed on the paper drawing, say for example your guest list for your birthday party, you get that printed on the paper drawing, and then you get that in the Excel file. And now you are about to summarize how many are attending the party and how many are not going to attend the party. On the paper, you're going to go and count one by one, but if having that in Excel, it's just a simple formula, you're going to get that. That's what Bimify is doing. So we are taking the paper drawing and structuring the information, delivering it in the format that all the modern systems and applications in the industry can receive and start creating value on that. So that's why I think we are a natural first step on that journey.
Today I'd like to welcome to the Smarter Building podcast Aleksandar Balicevac. Aleksander is CEO of Bimify, platform for creation and maintenance of digital building models. Welcome. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Richard. Great to be here.
Fantastic. So we love to have entrepreneurs on the podcast. You're sort of reasonably early, I guess, still in your journey as we see it, but I'm guessing there's been quite a lot going on behind the scenes. Can you give us a bit of background as to how you've ended up where you are and sort of the story that's meant that you've created Bimify?
If we start like 10 years ago, I started my career within the industry at a company called Waltercon that consists of a couple of consulting companies. I was, so to say, born and raised there, and after a couple of years with that constellation, we come up with the idea of automating digitization of the existing buildings, because that was one of the services that they offered to the market, one of the consulting services, and it was actually 2017 where we started sketching this idea, but the market wasn't there. The market wasn't where the digital twin was just an idea in the early phases, and no one wanted even to discuss that. So back to school, completed my university studies, and then I wanted to change the path and see if there are other industries that are more interesting where I can apply my knowledge and my education. So I went to the manufacturing for a bit at a company called Northvolt. And doing my master thesis at Northvolt, I realized like how digitized the manufacturing industry is, how much data they have. They have a data about each and every operator every second where that person is in the factory, which was amazing. I got inspired, and then I started thinking about the world's biggest asset buildings again, and that idea that we actually planted the seed for in 2017. I was like, now the technology with the deep learning and AI development already in 2020s was there. So I decided to go back to that Beam path and start developing Bimify with Waltercon. So that's shortly how I ended up there.
Fantastic. And in terms of that journey you've been on, in terms of that development journey, what's the best bit of advice you can give to other sort of want to be entrepreneurs, I guess, who are looking to create and bring technology to the market?
Yeah. If we just like look at the Bimify journey, how it started in 2020, we had a really ambitious roadmap, 6 months to develop a prototype, 3 months to get the first client on board, learn from there, iterate, 3 months, launch the product. It actually took us 2 years to crack the code and develop a pipeline that we are still using today and further developing. So I would say, like, having a clear vision that you believe in, having a clear picture of the world after you have completed your journey, you've established your solution is the most important thing, because like changing the path, hitting the walls, and having your idea taking much longer time than initially planned. If you don't have that clear vision in front of you all the time and an ambition in your eyes on the target, then you're gonna get disappointed. So I think that's the first one, having a clear vision and never letting your eyes from it. And the other one is be prepared that in the best case, the things will take at least double as much time as you are planning that they will take.
Okay, cool. So a bit of patience there as well.
Exactly.
So Bimify, we kind of just skipped over that quickly. Do you want to talk us through exactly what it is and what it does and how it's going to revolutionize the market, I guess?
Yes, definitely. I'm going to try to present Bimify from different angles, but starting from how we communicate on our website and how we communicate to the industry. We are once an automated one-stop shop platform for creation and maintenance of digital building models, or what we call them today, BIM models. Important to point is that we are a platform and not a product. We have experienced that's hard to explain for the industry sometimes, and everyone we meet from the industry tries to compare us with the tools that, for example, architects are using in their process to optimize their workflows for BIM modeling. That's not what we are doing. All the products that we are developing, or the automation that we are developing, we are using it in our pipeline to be able to deliver high quality models faster. So one, we are a platform, and the other one is also another distinguishment that is important for me to explain, is because many of the people in the industry compare us with a digital twin system for facility management and operations. That's not what we are. We only focused on the model, creation of it, and maintenance of the data. We are never going to build any applications where you can utilize this information to optimize different processes. So that's Bimify in a nutshell.
Okay. And in terms of that digitization process, how much faster do you see this being than traditional methods of a similar ilk?
Yeah, well, we are still in early stages, I would say. And when it comes to the automation, how automated we are, that's a question that we are getting frequently, and it's hard to answer because it depends on the final output that the client is ordering on our platform. Since we are delivering the models up to the highest level of detail, the more information the final model needs to contain, the less savings we have with the automation. But if we, for example, take a simple model with core and shell interior and openings, a model, usually it's sufficient for any CAFM system implementation, I would say up to 80%.
Okay. And you sort of alluded to CAFM system implementations and supporting CAFM solutions. What are the biggest problems that your customer base are trying to address when they're buying Bimify? You know, what is the challenges they're trying to solve in digitizing their estate, whether that's from 2D or whether that's from laser scans, whatever it might be?
I think the first thing would be the understanding of what do I need in order to be able to solve my pain points today. I think a lot of players in the industry are trying to sell comprehensive digital twin solutions that probably solve some of the pain points that the end clients have today, but are also containing many future scenarios in their sales pitch. What we are trying to achieve is to speak a very simple language with the end client, and always starting from the pain points that they have today, and helping them get on board the digitization journey step by step. Not selling the comprehensive solutions that they have hardly to understand. It's going to take them a year to implement in their organization, but starting with something very simple and building up from there.
Okay, so you see this very much as the first step on the journey. Somebody wants to create a digital twin, and 80% of their estate is probably in 2D CAD drawings at the moment. This is the first step on that journey, is it, to move that from 2D to 3D, so you can then start building all the fancy, wonderful other layers that may or may not be available.
Definitely. And I mean, I usually use one analogy to explain what we are doing to people who are not from the industry. And that's, say, for example, if you get information about any kind of information in a table form printed on the paper drawing. Say, for example, your guest list for your birthday party. You get that printed on the paper drawing, and then you get that in the Excel file. And now you are about to summarize how many are attending the party and how many are not going to attend the party. On the paper, you're going to go and count one by one. But if having that in Excel, it's just a simple formula, you're going to get that. That's what Bimify is doing in the industry. We are taking that paper drawing and structuring the information, delivering it in the format that all the modern systems and applications in the industry can receive and start creating value on that. So that's why I think we are a natural first step on that journey.
Okay. And in bringing any of these solutions to market, one of the massive keys to success is timing. Why do you feel now is the right time to bring this kind of solution to market?
Well, I think BIM has been around for quite a while, and it has been widely implemented in designing the new buildings. And once the technology and the work processes got mature there, the industry started pushing the technology into the operation and maintenance, and with an idea, you can have a use of this. And I think that has been going on since 2010, 2015. It took a couple of years for the industry to understand, okay, what can we do with all of this technology? How can we use this in operation purposes? And I think the industry is there now. It's mature. The BIM has been proven as a technology and a work process in the operation and maintenance phase of the buildings. And also what we can see is we have a political winds blowing our way. For example, Digital Europe the branch for digital questions has started promoting BIM as one of the key components in their initiative to make all the buildings net zero by 2050. And they also recognize BIM as a starting point, as an enabler to be able to build large-scale solutions and get through with this initiative.
Okay. So I guess there's that beginning to move from a government point of view. Is there any other legislation that a government should be bringing in that you think could support the transition to digital twins further, that could help you and your bid to digitize estates?
That's a hard one. I always struggle with the role of the politics. We were discussing all the other questions, but I think the government has been good to promote innovation, support prototyping when it comes to digitization, and to set some directives. Once everything has been developed, then the government comes in and set the directive. This is how it should look like. But there is a quite a wide space in between there that I think that government can do more with some bold initiatives. See, for example, what we are doing, setting a request for all the buildings, that all the buildings need to have their information available in a certain file format, because all the modern applications, all the stakeholders within the construction real estate industry work with this file format. That could be one way of a bold initiative to support this transition that we are part of.
Okay. And in terms of where this has been adopted so far, what do you think is the most, well, I guess there are two things. What's the most valuable application of Bimify so far, and what's the most maybe the most fun application of it as well? What was the project that you've kind of had the most excitement in being involved with?
I think that all of the projects we've done so far are really, really funny and exciting because it's nothing that we have expected.
Okay,
you have one vision. You have one way that you would like to do things, and then you just meet the marketing, and everything looks completely different, and you really get frightened about the market expectations. So I think that's one of the big learnings. If we refer back to your second questions, the advice to give: expect that technology itself will not resolve the whole problem. Technology is 30-40% of the problem, especially if you are a complex industry like we are in. So guiding the industry, creating that change is going to be a big part of the work that you need to do. So back to your question, I think that each and every project is still surprising me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're having to sort of change your strategy a bit and who you're positioning the solution to? Because I guess you came with one idea and people just want a whole load of different things.
Yeah, exactly. But we are still maintaining the course, because I think that everyone that gets on board Bimify, both clients, resellers, partners, like Symmetry, everyone believes that this is the right way. It's just that we need to make a small adjustments in order to be able to get more and more people on board and create that exponential growth and exponential, I would say, acceptance of this way of digitizing the existing buildings.
Okay, so aside from the government, what can organizations, technology providers, consultants be doing in order to help? The people are still very slow moving around digitization of estates. How can we help accelerate the process?
To sum it up, two things. Look global and not globally and not locally. And then don't try to resolve too many problems too fast. And what do I mean? What do I mean by this is what we have experienced when meeting our first customers or they are on the market. They're already focusing on their problems in their workflow and trying to ask for all the possible features that are going to resolve their problem. But accepting that Bimify resolves your need up to 60-70% today, and it's probably going to resolve all of the clients' needs on all the different markets up to the 60-70%. That should be good enough, because having solutions that are very generic up to a certain level and accepting that kind of solutions and then building on top of that, I think that's how I would like that we are met by the industry, and not trying to request all of those features that you need for your specific workflow that you have been developing over the last 10 years, but thinking, okay, this is a generic component. How can I put it in my process and adjust my workflows around it, and not looking for an exact copy of what I'm doing today, slightly adjusted and slightly better.
Thank you. No, I think it's a fantastic point. I think, I spend a lot of time talking to organizations who have seen the digital twin front end, the flashy stuff. They want that, not to solve any business problems, but just because it looks nice and they think it can help them out. But then when they go to implement it, they don't have the underlying data. They don't have the 3D models in good shape. They can't actually use it to drive any change. They've just seen a very good sales pitch. So for me, some of this core, I can say more basic, the fundamentals, maybe the fundamental stuff where you just get the data right. You move your 2D models into 3D. You begin to build that base level of understanding. You call it 60 to 70% of the journey. I think that it does take our customers, it does take those looking to evolve a long way to where they need to be. It's those starting steps. And then they can think what they do with the data rather than the other way around.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one, because one of the big issues or big bottlenecks in the digitization of the existing buildings has been the question, or one of the big problems has been the answer to the question, when am I going to get back my money? Because investing in comprehensive digital twin solutions, it's going to take years. It's going to take an organizational change, a lot of change management. It's going to take a lot of money just to buy these models and the systems. It's going to take you time to operate two dual systems in parallel. Your old system while implementing comprehensive digital twin system. It's a minefield. There is a lot of danger out there. So what we try to promote is start with something very simple. What are you struggling with today? What is everyone struggling with today? Handling a bunch of 2D drawings. That's one pain point. What's the lowest level of detail necessary in the model for you to be able to resolve that pain point and remove your 2D drawing? Start there. It's easy to consume. What happens then? That happens that your organization is starting to touch and feel, okay, we have a BIM model, we have some low level of information there. Imagine if, and then the imagine if questions come up. Imagine if we had this, and they're going to call you or me or whoever and ask, can I get this and this and this? So suddenly the change starts to be more like pull driven than technology push driven.
I think one of the other massive drivers in this space, or digital twin, or however you want to look at it, is sustainability and the desire of organizations, or the need of organizations, to move towards a 2030 or 2050 sustainability strategy, sustainability targets. You've talked about this taking people 60 to 70% of the way to being prepared. I think for me, that's probably one of the key drivers, whether you call it digital twin, whether you call it digitization, whether you call it delivering against sustainability targets that we have to meet as an organization. I think it's a big part of what will evolve this technology. Is that something you agree with and you think Bimify can enable?
Definitely. I mean, there is, I don't know the exact name of the phenomenon, but I think it's a knowledge pyramid. You have the information as the first level, and that's what we are trying to achieve here, to collect the information in a format that's consumable and easy to work with. Then you have knowledge, then you have wisdom. So we are still struggling with that first step, collecting the information about the existing buildings in order to be able to build knowledge and then build wisdom. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, very philosophical perspective, everyone would agree. You need information in order to be able to build knowledge, right? Yeah. So I think that explains our approach as well, and my view of that.
I think so. Without that volumetric data about your estate, making decisions around heating, air conditioning, all the things that are going to influence your carbon footprint is almost impossible. So this very much is the way to go in order to prepare for that, as far as I'm concerned. And then moving forward and looking to the future, and what's next for you and Bimify over this year and then the coming years, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So if we take 2024 short term first, the main focus is to establish our solution and our approach on the market and further develop the automatization, because that's the key. Being able to create models cheaply, quickly, and on a large scale is the key for our next step. And then the next steps will be getting into that second service or offering that is still in development, is maintenance of the data. Because once you have made the investment, everyone knows that if you don't maintain your data up to date, it's going to lose its value over time. And we're going to get the frustrated customers who are going to say, I paid this much for this digital twin, and now I don't even know what's accurate and what's not. I think we have a really good position with all the technology that we've developed to speed up the creation of models, to optimize the process of maintenance of that part of digital twin that is contained in a BIM model. So yeah, that will be the next step.
Fantastic. And to the side or around the Bimify offering, is there any other technology that really excites you and that we should be keeping an eye out for 2024? Can be related or completely unrelated.
Yeah, I think there is a buzz around all the tools that are generating the design for the new buildings, like tools like Layout, tools like Swedish Finch. And I think those are a really good example, not because of the value that they create specifically for that process, but I think it's a really good example of how we can use the technology in our process as a help tool, and not expect that the technology is going to solve everything, but just be a helper in our workflow. So I think, yeah, those tools really inspire me when it comes to the the change management and understanding of how we should see the technology and what expectations we should have from the technology and all the AI buzz around us. It's not going to solve everything, but it can be a great tool if you know how to position it in your work process.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Aleksander. I think that's all we've got time for. So thank you very much for joining us on the Smarter Building podcast. It's been really great to have you. I've enjoyed listening to all your insights and finding out about Bimify and how you've got to where you are. So hopefully all our listeners have too. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for having me here.